to the August 17th Johnsburg Board Ed meeting. Thank you all for coming. I ask
Jim Barrett,
Here.
Jerry Parker,
here.
Bob Close, here, Steve Lee, Nathan Michael, here, Kathy Knight, here, Tom Eklund.
Here. Please rise for the pledge. We pledge allegiance. First, fellow board members, are there any topics you'd like us to consider to add to the agenda this evening?
How can I make a motion we approve as presented?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We need to appoint a secretary pro tem, Mr. Link, this evening.
I appoint Megan Michael as secretary for this evening.
Second.
Louise? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Megan. And we have the approval of the minutes for the July 13th, 2021 Board of Ed meeting and the July 13th, 2020 Board of Ed closed session meeting. Any issues with the meeting minutes?
Make a motion to approve the minutes as presented?
Jerry?
Second.
Roll call.
Jerry Parker,
Yes.
Bob Close,
Yes.
Nathan Michael,
Yes.
Kathy Knight,
Yes.
Jim Barrett,
Yes.
Tom Eklund.
Yes. Next we have is citizens' time to speak. One, thank you all for attending this evening. This is where we open the floor for citizens to talk to the board. If you'd like to address us, please come down to see the podium there and state your name and make sure you've signed in. We need that for the permanent or the official record of our meetings. And we kindly ask you to conduct yourself in a professional manner with respect to everyone in the room, as well as follow our board policy 2230. Additionally, the board does not respond during this time. Following our policy, you'll have a maximum of 5 minutes to speak. And we'll remind you when you have a minute left. Please also note that the board will be discussing and reviewing amongst ourselves during the informational portion of the meeting. We'll be providing information from our legal counsel, insurance provider, as well as recently released information from the Illinois State Board of Education regarding the mask mandate and the severe consequences we as a district will face. Once citizen time to speak is completed, we'll be continuing with our agenda. So at this time, are there any citizens that would like to address the board?
Good evening, Dr. Johnson and school board members. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Nancy Thompson. My husband Jeff and I have 2 boys in the district. My comments tonight focus on the illegal mask requirement for students. I'm here tonight not only to speak on behalf of my children,
vital for her success to be able to do these things. So what happened last time around? We didn't have a choice. She wore a mask. All of you and the district made sure she had what she needed to succeed. When you were e-learning, her grades started plummeting. You went back to school, even with the mask, even with plastic around her desk, struggling, hearing her grades went back where they needed to. Again, it's vital for her to be able to see. But my point is, I trust all of you. I voted for all of you to make the best decision. You know your hands are tied. I know you will make the right decision. And I want to thank you for dealing with all of this and continuing to have our children's best interest. Thanks.
Here's your twelve stakeholders. This
Hang on.
past year,
I'm sorry, can you say who you are, please?
Elise,
And your last name is Elise?
fine.
Right in?
All right, dear district twelve stakeholders, this past year, I've been like no other. I'm here to speak as a mother of two children and as an elementary educator. I'd like to begin by thanking all of the staff involved in the Summer Jumpstart program. I was pleased to have the opportunity to send my pre-K student after this past academic year in preparation for kindergarten and getting more confident in his ability to be able to transition to full day. There has been sharing on social media also regarding the tuition for full day kindergarten. I would highly encourage the board and administration to dive deeper into budgeting and the allocation of funds for full day kindergarten as other surrounding districts have. Now to the more significant reason that I'm standing here before you this evening. I'm not going to make any threats. I returned to a small town to raise my children for a reason. However, I feel that with the pandemic, folks have lost sight of the sense of community that was once here when I grew up. As an educator, I would like to kindly remind all adults that we are the role models for children. That whatever we say, do, and how we interact with others directly impacts our children. Social emotional learning is going to be a priority this year, and we have all managed and continue to navigate a pandemic. Children are extremely impressionable,
level of abuse, but I personally send children to school every day in a mask, crying. And I'm tired, and I'm done. My children will not be returned to school this year in a mask. For my children and other children, these medical devices carry many worse viruses as well, and bacteria that are much worse than COVID. We will see a rise in bacterial pneumonia this year, and we'll probably also see a rise in other things that can get transmitted to wearing a mask. My healthy children are also not a threat to anyone else, and for them to be treated as such is bullying, and not a right. We are all fed up with this nonsense. Children cannot need to make the best decisions to protect their health and their safety. Parents in this community will unite in this fight, and I'm asking that you join with us to fight government's overreach and its authority. This is an executive order. This is not a law. It does not hold the same weight as a law. And you've already been read tonight from multiple other parents what the law actually says. And you, as a school board, take the right to make the decision of what's right and best for our children in Johnsburg. At the beginning of many meetings, we recite the Pledge of Allegiance. At the beginning of every school day, the staff and the kids recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Liberty, justice for all. The Johnson School Board members, please join us in fighting for the liberty and justice for our kids. Additionally, I would like to ask Dr. Johnson to please refrain from ever contacting my employer again to ask who I am or what I do for a career. If you not appreciate it, it is not right. My children go to your school. I will not be bullied or coerced into having them wear masks. I will not be bullied or coerced into having them stay home. None of that will happen regardless of who you contact. Thank you.
Some things I wanted to touch on. Number one, decision back to the last board meeting is what I want from my family. And I respect that decision. Appreciate it. Now, I recognize that you guys are all in a very, very, very situation. I don't want to be issues and but it needs to be said that there's a tremendous amount of pressure. Also, there's time, but it's the negative in society of bullying, strong arm, withholding money that the community pays, right? It's not, they're not withholding their money, they're withholding money, right? And they're strong arming you into mandating masks. Right? I believe in it. I believe in choice, freedom of choice. I actually feel like maybe we should have a community election. Maybe we need, there are people with stakeholders. We have teachers, yes, they're in the trenches. Let's find out where they all stand. Let's find out all parents where they stand. When we want to talk about democracy, maybe we exercise it a little bit and actually find out what people, how they feel, what they believe, before we just cave to thugs and bullets and strangers. Because that's what's happening. We have made a decision as a community. And no, that's not acceptable. The question I have is we've gone through all of this, okay, so we started with 3 weeks, this flattened curve. And then we went for a moment, which, God help the teachers, it was horrible, it was horrific, and nothing, every ounce of strength and energy they had, they poured into it. And I'm grateful for what they were able to give us. I mean, I can still hear my daughter crying and screaming, my son. How much should we put them through? For what risk? I said it the last meeting. 0.003 infection fatality rate for children. Everybody keeps talking about protecting children. They're already protected. When they do have COVID, the symptoms are mild. So then we go on to remote learning. And we lock down an essential workers only. I was an essential worker. I was in the trenches every day. I'm still here. I had a friend at work, 12 days in ICU, been exposed multiple times. I'm still here. Okay? Yeah, so then we go, okay, well, we need to lock down and we need to wear masks until we have a vaccine. Now we have a vaccine. But now we have a vaccine where all of a sudden, oh, no, we need masks again. And now, there's discussion that, people that are vaccinated are able to get it. So where do we draw the line? Where and how much harm in these children? I mean, physically, no. Social, emotional. I mean, others have stated the repercussions of the mask and oxygen. I mean, I spent time, I walked away from my career to stay home with my children. I spent time in Ringwood School, fell in love. The teachers there were amazing. Everybody there was amazing. I can say the same thing about Jess. Amazing people, okay? I see those kids' faces in the classrooms. Free masks. It was a beautiful thing. Absolutely beautiful. But we were just at school. Masks all over the place. Sucks. Right out of my heart, out of my soul. Just kills me. So where do we draw the line? So I would argue, and I 100% feel that parents have a right to choose right for the family. And I respect the families that choose a mask and that are concerned. But I feel that as a community, we could come together and talk about it and find a way that we can mitigate for everybody. This forced mandate, our kids don't need to be protected from coronavirus. Our kids need to be protected from Governor Pritzker and the state school board. We decide what we think is going to harm our kids and what isn't. They don't. Okay? Thank you very much.
Anyone else like to address the board?
I'm coming here as a parent of little high school kids and a 20-year employee at the district driving school bus. We just have to do better. It's not about the masks. Decisions are decisions, but we have to do better. Communication. This coronavirus is here to stay. How are we going to handle the quarantine and the testing or whatever the new guidelines are going to be? I can't have my son just hopped out of school because he was, next to someone who may have got it. I had to drive a bus where all of a sudden my kids are missing. Why? Well, because someone rode the bus and now the quarantine. Well, that kid didn't drive the bus for 2 weeks. I felt bad for those kids. I was seeing those kids. They're quarantined for no reason. Again, my son was quarantined. The county health department told me, I had coronavirus. I had COVID. He was fine. They said he had quarantine. The administration here quarantined him. So he had his gas off. Again, mentally, it's hard on these kids. I get it. But it's here. It's not going anywhere. We can't just throw kids out of school. So we got to get better communication. How we're going to deal with it. I don't want my kid out of school. He doesn't want it. This is last year. He doesn't want to play sports. He doesn't, play basketball all the rest of his, because he can't wear a mask with gas on, so he can't play basketball while wearing a mask. So he's been done, So, it's got to be better. I just wanted to address that. How we're going to do that. And then you can answer my question. But I came here hopefully to get some answers as far as how we're going to do that quarantine. The nurse was always different with the guidelines. This person was different. The football team got quarantined, but yet the coach got to go sit on another football team. So it was like, it didn't make sense to me. If kids sat behind me, why wasn't I? Why is it the teachers? It just didn't make sense. So I want more answers, and I just want
touch decision I gotta make, so I have T-ball coaches, I run hot dogs. What else? Biggest thing right now. Our kids, this is their easy part of their life. The only thing start. This whole thing is screwing them up, screws us up. Is fight each other, fight the kids, fight, just not so much. We gotta just let kids be kids. Let them have one sense of what's happening. I have either freshman, senior, kindergarten. We've already lost 2 years for a lot of these kids, seniors. Let's not lose a third year of seniors. Let's not, just keep this pressure. So on and so forth. I think most people are irritated. It's nice. How long do you keep this up? And I know a lot of people who see guys outside, school district, whatever. I don't think means to know what you guys think. And you know, it's not important for you guys. These are decisions you made to be better for the community, better for the kids. Help us parents. We don't want to run every time. Help the kids.
Thanks, Dave.
My name is Dave Beeman. I know a lot of you guys, y'all did, and see y'all did. And I'm, that's where we live now, I guess. I'm totally planning on speaking here tonight, but I think, I could see a lot of facts. I know a lot of facts, but I've been doing research ever since this pandemic started. Up in March of 2020. Over 2,000 hours of research. I know that sounds like a lot of people do this. It's fun. I do it every single day. I've done it every single day since March of 2020. So I know a lot of facts have already been thrown out. But I thought maybe I'd come out here and give a personal touch to who I am, because I'm 53 years old. I was born and raised in this community. I spent all my school years in District 12. Off college. I say that because, it's a lot of years in Johnsburg. It's a lot of years being influenced by the teachers here. Wendy Swipel was one of my favorite people. Another teacher from junior high, and I'm going to say his name, but it's a little bit more negative, or a little minor, a lot of stuff about on social media. I hate it. But yet he's still one of my favorite people. I don't say that lightly because my favorite people, how many people do we encounter on there? Hundreds, right? Maybe thousands, I don't know. But my favorite people in this world, besides family, are very few and far between, very low percentage. And so, even though the junior high teacher is long retired, he's still one of my favorite people. He's still about his. He does great things for this community. Those are my favorite. Manny Swipel, he taught me some lessons of the really who I am. Walking into these doors in this school, this 14-year-old kid, sitting down in his class, intro to journalism, taught me some very valuable lessons that I can use every day for the next year and a half. And that's how you use some discernment. What the hell is going on out there? What the hell is going on out there? I mean, look at us. We're divided, a divided community. Half of us have masks on, half of us don't. I have to wear these things around 24 hours I'm working. I'm around people all the time. I'm not getting sick. The hospital is full. how to stay in the middle, how to conduct an interview, whether it be with the dean of students, principal, some pretty, as a kid, some tough things to do, some great lessons as a young adult.
1 minute.
He helped me grow as a person, and he helped me to be able to discern information. I could read an article, and right away I could pick out whether or not this is BS, this is literal crap, or that it's conservative crap too. I know how to play it from the middle. It's one of the few things that I'm good at. From the middle, I can see clearly both ends of the spectrum. And I can see the good and the bad from that end and from this end. I might side for this end, but that doesn't mean that I don't look at this end and discern the information that comes. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong now, but I gotta tell you, this mask stuff is absolutely insane. It is unbelievable. And the vaccines are even worse than that. I'm not gonna get into it. My time is up. I know that. By the way, I know, like I said, I know a lot of you guys, and I want to thank you for what you do. I know that many people have said that you are, yes, you are. I appreciate what you're doing for the community. I just think that we need to have options. We got a period girl. Yeah, I never even thought about that reading this. We need to see each other's face. We need to see smiles. This is bad. This is really, really bad. And it's so much bigger than the village of Johnsburg. It's so much bigger than the state of Illinois. And I'm sorry for that. Badass is not the one who tells us what to do. He has to answer to us. These criminal politicians need to answer to us. We are their boss. I don't know what person lost that message.
Thanks, Dave. Can you say your name again?
All I like to say is, I'm very respectful of everybody. I think that's very hard to support. But as far as I'm concerned, when I was delivering my kids, there was no this for anybody in there. It was me and my husband, and we are responsible for our kids. I can't really imagine. Like, look at these people. Everybody was scared that you could make a choice. This virus looking serious. Why there was nobody that stopped us from taking our masks off or interacting with their masks? Can't we just let people make the same choices every day and just let people decide, how they want to protect each other? I'm sure that everybody is different. They want the best for their kids. And that's like, that's just my opinion. So what I wanted to say is, I will not be sending my kids to school in masks. If the school was to fight me and the parents, it was my choice how I protect my kids, I'll be more than willing to do it. If it means that I have to sell my house and move to the States, that's worth my choice, I will do that. So I just wanted to let you know. Again, no disrespect, I respect all of you. Please, let us know if you guys are on the side of our freedom. And if the school board is afraid of lawsuits from the government, from the insurance company, are you afraid of lawsuits from parents? You think the firefighters, you guys saved our house a couple months ago? Thank you so much.
Anyone else like to address the board?
I'm Lee Steinsberg, long time, lifetime, Kenny. Thank you, first of all, for think one thing we learned about this is we're a government of the people and by the people, not by the governors. And the lesson that I think we hopefully learned, I tried to write that up and thank you for a lot of hard job. I work with school people all the time, and I see the graph you guys are being put through. One district I work with said, we're on plan number 45 now. throughout the state. So I feel for you guys. I feel that the people I work with, they're running through the ringer. It's really tough. But the issue for all of us is we need to stand up and take our government back. This is about us. It's not about them. If we let them, they will. This is one on everywhere. So for you guys, who are you going to have to serve, them or your community? And that's the decision you all have to make. And thank you for what you're doing. You're doing absolutely impossible. But we have to pull together and we have to decide what we're going to do and not let them do it. That's really what it's about. Let them, they will. So organize, talk to each other, start communicating amongst yourselves, talk to your board members, find out, let them know what you think. It's okay. They need to hear from you. So they volunteered to do this. It's a hard job. They need to hear from us. Do it respectfully and all that. We need to pull together and get to know your neighbors who are doing that and find out who's there. And if we don't pull together, thank you for our decisions. We try to get all the time.
Thank you.
Anyone else like to address the board? Okay, well, we thank you all for your input. We will go on to the bills, the fun part of being on the school board. Annie and the bills. The easier part, sure.
Including the years, obviously, the summer of bills, including the explanation, highlighting a few things. You'll note that we had an invoice in there for contract for $32,000. That's really just a refunding a double payment for new-rate funding. So ultimately, we're just paying back the second of the paycheck. So you'll see that there's a credit amount of $32,000. Also included is just kind of and just noting a few things here that we are also educating students. We did have an individual allocated for us to get for 4 students for a program.
Sorry, I
And
can't
then-
hear Annie.
You can't hear?
No, I can't
Okay,
hear.
I'm sorry.
No, listen, you're not here either, and you speak louder.
Sure. Also included on the summary is payments to computers to replace the iMac lab at the high school. We'll be using part of our purchase money to pay for that. And lastly, I just wanted to note that we have Midwest code paving included in the bills as well. That's for asphalt patching at Ridley School. I did make an adjustment to this as it was noted higher. Typically, we have much higher payments for doing our parking lots over the summer, but the prices came in extremely high this summer. So what we're going to be looking to do is to go out to bid next spring and do a larger portion. So you guys will see just a little bit more on that. That's all I wanted to summarize.
Do we have questions for Annie and the bills?
I have one question.
Sure.
What is the Aruba Airwave license?
I'm sorry.
The Aruba Airwave license?
Aruba is the controller for some of our tech systems, and it's the license that comes along with that.
Thank you.
Curious for the Alexander Lane,
Yep.
is that a typical monthly bill? Or is that just because of summer months?
Yeah, it's consistent.
Typical?
Yeah, so we did want to highlight that. Now, that is, it's a private school, so we do get reimbursement from the state for that funding. Not a full bill, but private school.
Other questions for Annie? Someone want to make a motion to pay the bills?
Make a motion, pay the bills.
I'll second.
Close?
Yes.
Megan Michael?
Yes.
Kathy Knight?
Yes.
Jim Barrett?
Yes.
Terry Harper?
Yes.
Tom Eklund?
Yes. All right, we're going to go to the COVID-19 COVID-19 updates.
Includes some information in your packet. Just kind of a summary of where things are at right now with kind of preparing for the school year. We had our new teachers in yesterday for our institute time, which was exciting to be able to see actually our new staff. We had locker day today, which people commented on. It was great to see the kids back in the building. We have our drop and runs tomorrow, and then we kick everything off officially with our staff institute day on Thursday morning. So we're going to do something a little bit different. We've got welcoming everybody out in the football field with some team building activities out there. And then good to go. So get back on the 24th. All that information is in your packet. And we'll some other information. So
Is it okay if I read what I prepared? Okay. I wanted to address the board here, or not officially address the board, but just make a statement, and everybody else who's in the room will be able to hear it too. Those of you who know me, I am fairly long-winded, so I apologize for this. I'm going to be very direct, and quite frankly, there will be people that disagree with what I'm going to say, but I must get it off my chest. 1 word and 1% are the 2 main reasons we are here right now. I will only be speaking on behalf of our state of Illinois in this dialogue, as it is what only pertains to why we are here today. 1 word. Right now, we are struggling with 1 word. That word is required. Recently, our governor has forced a mask mandate on schools, public and non-public, by using this 1 word, required. 1%. As of yesterday, in McHenry County, the confirmed fatality rate of COVID is 1%. This is per the McHenry County Department of Health's own website. Let me repeat that. 1% fatality rate. Actually, I rounded up because the actual percentage is 0.991. And what's most alarming about this is that 167 of the 299 confirmed deaths were related to long-term care facilities, also per their website. You may ask, did I hear that right? Over half of the deaths in McHenry County were due to long-term care facilities. The answer is yes. And if you include the entire state of Illinois, you can add 0.5% to that number. Another interesting fact is McHenry County has not recorded a COVID death since July 7th of 2021. So why all the fuss over 1 word and 1%? I have constantly questioned the approach our state has implemented and sometimes mandated over the last 16 months. I have watched, listened, and questioned everything that has been put on us over this time period. I've tried to use logic and common sense to understand why, but that's a tough thing to do when you have the shock and awe campaigns of the media trying to persuade their viewers to follow their news outlet versus giving an objective view of what's being said. I have questioned things like when our governor in Illinois issued a stay-at-home order last year, but then watched him travel to Wisconsin to his quote-unquote working farm. I've watched our governor allow construction workers from Illinois to work on that farm and build a second homestead and outbuildings on that property while this stay-at-home order was in place for the rest of us. I have watched and listened to our governor explain his answer to reporters that questioned these actions. And his response was, and I quote, "Construction is an essential function. And second of all, they are union employees and they are going to do the work that they do. And I've never said that people can't cross a border into another state," end quote. And lastly, I've questioned the very fabric of America by watching YouTube videos or social media posts get censored because it doesn't align with what our government is saying when citizens are questioning what is being required when they are faced with a 1% fatality rate in Illinois. One of those censored videos was from our last board meeting. Yes, our last board meeting was censored for medical misinformation, according to YouTube. I will add that it has been put back up online as our district appealed that censorship. And sadly, this meeting may also be censored based on some of what I'm saying or I'm about to say. I assure you, if it is, we will appeal that too. I have received countless examples of similar situations from parents in our school district that seem to question the validity of any of the mandates set forth by our governor. Examples of how social and emotional well-being of our kids, quite frankly, everyone in our population is being affected in a negative way at an alarming rate. Examples from doctors on how wearing masks can cause weakened immune systems. Examples of how the false positive rates of COVID tests are skewing the total numbers that our government is tracking. I have been sent a New York Times article that discusses the inherent flaw of PCR testing that's founded off of Dr. Michael Mina, an epidemiologist at Harvard, who states that the current amplification threshold for PCR tests is set for 37 to 40 times. He states the figure should be 30 or less, and that a study of positive cases in New York, Massachusetts, Nevada revealed that 90% of the positive tests were cycled more than 37 times, which hardly carry any trace of the virus and shouldn't even consider them contagious. I have also received a video of Dr. Stockton addressing the school board in Mount Vernon, Indiana, saying why there are fundamental flaws in the way the CDC and the health departments are treating this pandemic. I have been sent links to Illinois attorney Thomas DeVore stating that our governor does not have the power to issue a mask mandate. This is only citing some of what I have received as a board member. So what does all this mean? Honestly, some of the things I just mentioned are from credible sources, actual doctors and attorneys, people that should be trusted as authoritative figures in our life. However, everyone in this room or watching online needs to understand something very important. Everyone needs to understand that these people are stating their opinion without, and let me say this again, they're stating their opinion without the backing of a governmental agency like the CDC, the Illinois Department of Public Health, or the McHenry County Department of Health behind them. I give them credit, and quite honestly, I find validity to some, not all, but some of what is being said. But that is just me, Jim Barrett, a citizen in our small village of Johnsburg, something I can take action on in my own personal life. However, there is a different Jim Barrett that has to sit up here. Jim Barrett, the school board member of Johnsburg District 12. I had a good man tell me one time that when you're an elected official, sometimes you have to vote against your own personal ideologies. I took an oath when I accepted this office. One of the most important parts of that oath is, I shall respect taxpayer interests by serving as a faithful protector of the school district's assets. I can emphatically say that the decisions we have continued to follow throughout this entire pandemic have been to faithfully protect our school district's assets. I can honestly say that I do not believe that a mask mandate forced on us by our governor is in any way protecting our school district. But that is citizen Jim Barrett. Now school board member Jim Barrett is following the mandate, which in turn is following my oath as a board member, to assure our district avoids any potential litigation, any lapses or increases in liability insurance, any union grievances, and last but not least, any potential for our district to have our license to provide a public education removed from ISB, which would void any credit hours earned by our students, forfeiture of conference athletics, and potentially suspend or revoke licenses of individual employees. Despite what some may find from online attorneys, our governor has the authority to mandate this. I have read the Illinois Emergency Management Agency Act, and it grants this authority to him, plain as day. Read it myself. However, because I am not an attorney, nor is anyone up here at this table one, we as a board elected to have our school attorney also review this. He has reviewed and has given us an opinion that states the governor does have this authority. He can only issue things like this 30 days at a time, but unfortunately, we live in Illinois, and this act does not limit the amount of times our governor can issue this declaration of a disaster. Also, everyone keeps talking about videos online about House Bill 2789. People are talking about how it never passed and that there is nothing in that bill that can be enforced. I can say up here, you are 100% correct. That bill did not pass, and none of us are up here saying that it did. People talk about the sound of the sound clip of Senator Christopher Belt saying during a committee meeting that the state board, and I quote, the State Board of Education must adopt rules to address schools and education license holders who do not comply with the public health requirements established by the Department of Public Health when the governor has declared an emergency, end quote. Guys, we get it. Loud and clear. It didn't pass. However, you need to realize that that is not what is being enforced right now. Once again, I read 23 Illinois Administrative Code, Section 1.20, which gives the operational requirements for school districts in Illinois. Now, many of you probably don't know this, but each year, before September 30th, each school district in Illinois must apply for recognition from the state of Illinois. Each year, we must apply for recognition from the state of Illinois to operate and being recognized as an official school. After each application is submitted, the state superintendent will assign one of 4 recognition statuses. 1, fully recognized. 2, on probation. 3, recognized pending further review. Or 4, non-recognized. And once again, plain as day, in this section it states that, and I quote, districts and schools' recognition status is based upon compliance with the requirements imposed by law. And further down, I quote again, a school or district shall be placed on probation if it, let me read it again, a school or district shall be placed on probation if it, A, exhibits deficiencies that present a health hazard or danger to students or staff, end quote. Now, if you believe that disobeying a mask mandate forced on us by our governor wouldn't fall under this subset, please come see me, because I have a bridge to sell you. Once again, because I am not an attorney, nor is anyone up here at this table one, we as a board elected to have our school attorney review this again. Our attorney issued an opinion, and it states that ISB does have this authority directly under this section. I am not up here to put our district in jeopardy with any of the items I have just listed based on videos online of doctors and their opinions, media articles and their opinions, or online shock jock attorneys. I'm not up here to put our district in jeopardy just because Attorney Thomas DeBoer, who actually recently announced his candidacy for judge in the 5th Appellate District Court, has now filed a lawsuit on behalf of a parent in Clinton County, Illinois, that alleges our governor and state superintendent do not have the authority to do what they're doing. And believe me, I hope you win. I wish you luck. I hope you have a good case. But call me after you win. I am up here to follow the rules that are in place by the appropriate governing bodies that oversee us and issue state licenses necessary to be a credentialed public school in Illinois. I will question and challenge them appropriately. However, I will not disobey them as a person directing taxpayers' money, and to do so would be reckless behavior. I implore all of you to go and protest where it counts. Go protest at the McHenry County Department of Health. Go protest at the Illinois Department of Public Health. Go protest at ISB. Go protest at the CDC. Go protest at the governor's mansion or his house in Wisconsin. Not at a school board meeting that has been threatened to follow this mandate. Believe me, we want to hear from the public, but don't take it out on us for following the mandate. I will not risk taxpayers' money to fight a potential legal battle. With that being said, you all clearly know where I stand on this issue. When it comes to this whole pandemic, I find it mind-boggling what is being forced down our throats based on 1%. Utterly mind-boggling. But that is citizen Jim Barrett. I stand up here as a school board member. And as I mentioned earlier, a good man once told me, as an elected official, sometimes you must vote against your own personal interest to remain an unbiased opinion and not risk financial harm of taxpayers' money. And I will continue to do so while I'm serving this district. Thank you.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Sorry, I'm so long-winded.
Anyone else they want to say, or?
I had a few notes, not as long as Jimmy, but I appreciate it. You got a lot out there for me. I wanted to start by letting everybody know that I appreciate parents in our district advocating for their children. It's not easy to come here and sit through these meetings. It's not easy to stand up there and talk in front of people. So we really do appreciate you advocating for your children. I'd like to say that when the decision was local, we made a decision to support masks optional. That's no longer a decision that we can make. Everything Jimmy said, most of my notes refer to being fiscally irresponsible if we were to oppose this mask mandate and putting our district at risk. And our job here is not to do that. So I'd echo a lot of what Jimmy said, and again, just thank you guys for being here tonight.
Thank you.
Anything you want to say?
I don't have anything in addition. I would have echoed most of what Jimmy said. It's hard when we have circles of friends in this community and we're not representing just the 50 people that show up here to voice their opinion. We represent every constituent in this community of Ringwood, community of Johnsburg, whether they have children in the district, whether they don't have children in the district. It's our job up here to represent everyone. It's not always an easy role, and like Jimmy said, it's not always my personal opinion on how I vote. If you know me outside, you know that I don't agree with the masks. You know that I don't agree with the vaccine. But that's my personal opinion. I won't impose that on any of you. When we're having personal conversation, I won't ask you, I won't judge you, I won't judge you one way or the other. But when we sit up here at this table, we are taking a different mindset and agree with that, not agree with that. But I will not put the risk of all of our good taxpayers of this community at stake over a mask. Parents have options if they don't want their child to wear a mask in our school buildings. I don't want you to put those fantastic administrators that we have on the line just because you think that the masks are awful, horrible, you have other options. If you don't agree with it, and that's what we have in this community, you do have other options. I agree with what Jimmy said, and I appreciate you putting that together.
I agree, well stated.
Kathy, Jerry, anything you want to say? This will sound very familiar to many of you, but this is my guiding light, being a school board member. I am a historian, I teach history, and we, in my view, we just are work caretakers. We're here momentarily. This isn't our school district. And there were dozens and dozens of school boards before us, and there will be after us. And what I take great comfort in is all those that came before us did the responsible thing. And they checked their political views at the door, which is what we have to do. We run as nonpartisans. There's no Republicans up here, there's no Democrats, though there are, but up here we are not. And I teach my children this. I was raised this way. Before I say this, my wife and I chose to live here because we grew up here. And we chose to live here because we knew the people in this community would watch out for our kids. And that became very real when my son was in second grade. And he barged through the kitchen door and he threw his backpack up against the counter and just started yelling how he can't do anything around here because everybody knows me. And that, we looked at each other like, that's why we're here. And what I was raised to do by my father, what we raise our children is you have your word. Doesn't matter who you are. If you're an honest person, and you have your word, you're trusted. And all of us have said this oath, and 4 of us just did this a few months ago. And the thing that we say right off the bat, I solemnly swear that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of member of Board of Education of Johnsburg Community School District 12 in accordance with the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Illinois, and the laws of the State of Illinois to the best of my ability. And then further, I swear I shall respect taxpayer interest by serving as a faithful protector of the school district's asset. Number 1, we have to follow law. Number 2, we make sure we're covering all of the taxpayers' panties. Okay? It's been made very clear by our legal counsel that the governor's words or his executive order carries the weight of law. I know people disagree with that, but we hire a law firm to cover our butt. And that is the advice that we are getting. It's been made very clear to us by our insurance carrier through their letters that if you don't follow this, you are totally exposed. We would be we chose to ignore what we're being told, we have to be the most irresponsible board in the history of Johnsburg District 12. And I don't think any of us feel comfortable doing that. So that is my guiding light. That is how I look at things. And I just said to a good friend today, who wanted to debate this topic, it doesn't matter what my view is on it. It doesn't. This isn't a political thing. This is not partisan. We've been given no choice, and it's a choice we have to make. And follow Mr. Barrett's advice. Your voice matters, but direct it at those who can change things for us. And maybe the optimist, it's a 30-day. Maybe in 2 weeks things will be fine and he'll lift it. I can say this to you as an educator, in my 28th year teaching, we've had 5 days of school already where I'm at, and my students are responding in a way I haven't seen them in years. They're just filled with joy. They're so happy to be in school. They're happy to see a friend in person. They're happy to lean over and say, what did he say? Instead of having to try to text it to a friend who is watching the same class on a screen somewhere else in the school district. I appreciate what you said because I'm living that. And Dave said it too, like, let the kids be kids. They're resilient, at least the ones I'm working with every day, and they're enjoying their time at school, and they're enjoying the fact that they're with everybody. And for me, I'm thankful for that. Because 1 year ago, we weren't even allowed to go. And now everyone can go, and that's progress. And that gives me optimism. So thank you for hearing me out. We will move on to other business. We have a committee of the whole meeting on September 14th, right here. And on the 28th of September, we have a Board of Ed meeting, same place, right here at the auditorium. So now I'm looking for someone to make a motion to go into closed session regarding the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees.